What's up, Chads? Welcome back to the channel. I'm stoked. I'm talking to my buddy Eric tonight. That'll probably be up tomorrow because we gotta talk. Me and my man Eric. You guys are gonna be introduced to him. I love this guy, but here's an idea I'm thinking through. I saw a lot of YouTubers a couple months ago with the Evergrande thing out of China, the real estate developer that defaulted on some bonds, and then another one called Fantasia and stuff. And everyone's like, the real estate market in China is really bad, and this is the Lehman Brothers moment. And I was saying it's a nothing burger. It's nothing's happening with it. Like it's just a news story to get views. Shut up, basically, is what I was talking about. And I think that's definitely true. I don't think it's Lehman Brothers. I don't think there's a ripple effect to it. I mean, Chinese developers go bankrupt and default on their bonds. Okay, Chinese government doesn't care. And they can just print the currency to make up for the bondholders. Not a big deal. But here is the Lehman Brothers moment. Sanctioning Russia, like an entire country, #2 exporter in the world, #7 largest economy in the world, sanctioning them and trying to just essentially crush their currency, crush their assets, crush their exports, crush their imports. That's your Lehman Brothers moment. That's trillions and trillions and trillions of possible defaults coming down the pike. How long do these things take? Normally about a year, year and a half. In addition to that, our US elites want to ban the import of Russian oil. Okay. Sounds great. They also want to ban the import of Russian energy through the Nord Stream 2 pipeline into Germany. Germany has made this amazing decision that they're going to go all solar in an area where the sun doesn't shine. So they're super dependent on Russian energy. So nonetheless, I think what's going to occur here is that our Lehman Brothers moment has been brought on by US political elites trying to punish Russia because they are too fake and gay to put a no-fly zone over Ukraine, because they don't actually want to do anything about the Ukraine issue. I mean, Biden said the other day in the State of the Union, well, we sent $1 billion in aid to Ukraine. Like, so what, dude? You spend $1 billion on like all sorts of stuff. Like, you spend trillions normally, like on the monthly, like literally they spend $1 trillion a month, and you're sending like 1/1000th of that, which is $1 billion, which is essentially at this point in time like nothing, to Ukraine. Like, it's all theatrics in my opinion. But here's the way out for Russia, and I think that this is the nuclear option for Russia. I think that the Lehman Brothers moment has already happened, but I think that all of the power rests with Putin if he can maintain control of the country, because it seems as though he's going to get a lot of domestic blowback. So he's going to have a lot of problems trying to stay in power there. Here's his nuclear option. He sells oil and gold. And Luke Groman unpacked the math on how he would do this. If he wanted to crush the worldwide economy, I mean just crush it and suck in the capital into Moscow, how you could do it is you could peg oil to gold, and you could back the ruble with gold. And Luke had sent out, and I'll link to this video if I can find it, Luke had thrown out this idea of backing the oil and gold, or ratioing them at 1 ounce to 1,000. So if he were to do something crazy, sell 1,000 barrels of oil for 1 ounce of gold, there would be this insane arbitrage. And so what would happen is people would flock into gold, and then people would be trading gold for oil to resell the oil at a higher price. It would create this insane arbitrage, but it would also create this epic short squeeze on gold. It would be this incredible arbitrage on oil, and it would essentially suck all of the gold capital into Moscow and cause energy prices around the world to just literally go parabolic, which would crush absolutely everything. Because when the gold price rips, the economies crater. Like they crack and fall. They go to dust. Like, think about living in a world where the gold price goes to 50,000. Well, that's a world of insane oil prices. It just depends on how you want to ratio them. I'll probably do like a whiteboard video and actually looking at the ratio and figuring out like what those numbers would be or what they would look like. But Luke's video on if Putin wanted to, he just literally demands oil exports to be paid in gold, because what we have just learned is that you can't trust the US dollar system. You can't trust the US elites. You can't trust Switzerland. You can't trust anybody at this point in time. You can't trust the Canadians. You can't trust the Canadian government, or the Canadian banks rather. Canadian people are great, but the Canadian banks, no bueno. And so if he wanted to, the nuclear option would be demand gold in payment for oil and crush the worldwide economy and suck in the capital into Moscow at the same time where oil prices would rip through the freaking roof. It's an interesting play. I think that the gold card is something that as I watch this currency fall, I'm like, yeah, they're gonna have to do something, because as the ruble continues to fall and the US and all the Western countries don't actually send troops, don't actually do anything, but they're like, we're gonna play a finance game with you. Well, that's gonna end very bad, and it's gonna end very bad for the US. And if you can't understand that, just think through, like, the trust in the US system is being broken. And there's no reason to trust us. When China makes their move on Taiwan, and they will have learned all of the lessons from Russia, and they will have parallel systems. In fact, we've incentivized Russia to find parallel systems as of now. We've incentivized an entire country to start looking at crypto very seriously, or metals very seriously, or something outside of the SWIFT system very seriously. I don't think that the Chinese Evergrande Bank, or the Evergrande crisis, developer crisis, is a thing at all. I think it was just a news story some YouTubers wanted to do. You guys can go to those videos. You'll see my comments on them. And I'm like, this is a nothing burger. I put that on all of this. Nothing burger. Sanctioning Russia and banning imports of oil in the West from Russia is your Lehman Brothers moment. That's where this whole entire house of cards comes down. And I'd say we got a year, maybe a year and a half. It depends on how Putin wants to play this. And in the smartest move I think that he has, after he wraps up the Ukrainian takeover thing, is to back either his currency or demand gold in terms of trade for oil. But he has this immense, I mean, the central bank of Russia is carrying more gold on deposit than they have rubles, which is something most central banks do not have going on. I mean, we sure as hell don't. I mean, we have a money printer in the world's reserve currency. It's kind of embarrassing that we don't have like the largest stockpile of gold. I mean, we kind of say we do, but it hasn't been audited since '54. Nonetheless, I think that the nuclear option for Russia is not to take over additional countries, but to crush additional countries by pulling the oil card and backing oil with gold, or backing the ruble with gold and demanding payments in gold and ruble. Essentially, you would have to trade USD, US dollars, euros, whatever, for a gold-backed ruble, or you'd have to trade gold for oil. Both situations would absolutely cripple the US banking system. It would absolutely cripple all, I mean, it would be the nuclear option. It would just, you talk about a great reset or a system reset, boom, right then, it's over. Like, I mean, the entire thing, like, anyone who's got gold shorts out, anyone who's got, like, you know, any of these banks that are short in silver, like, all that type of stuff, I mean, literally, they would just cash settle those shorts. They'd just be like, or, you know, cash settle any stakeholders. I mean, it would be a freaking mess. I have to kind of really sit through, because I just kind of came up with this idea this afternoon. I was like, man, if I was in Putin's cabinet, and I said this on Instagram today too. You guys can check out the Instagram, follow me there. I don't post much, but I do stories pretty often. If I was in Putin's cabinet, I would just tell him, like, yo, Daddy Putin, here's what we're doing. We're gonna back something with gold here. We're either backing the oil with gold and we're gonna ratio them, or we're gonna back the fiat currency with gold, and we're gonna demand payment in that currency for oil. And we're gonna crush the entire worldwide economy. That's how that is the nuclear football. I mean, that really is like the Hail Mary of options. But where do we stand? Our political elites want oil to go up, up, up. It's going to go up, up, up. That means everything. There's 6,000 products that are made with oil. To my understanding, I got that from Greg Manorino. He states it all the time. 6,000 products that are made with oil, concrete, steel, all that stuff requires oil, transportation. So inflation is going to continue to go. It's going to continue to rip. I mean, God, this is such a freaking cluster. This is such a messed up situation. It makes me like, I mean, at least I have hard metals and I grow food. I mean, that's really, man, that's really where we're going here, folks. This is going to get friggin' insane. Like, the more I think through this, I'm like, I don't have enough silver. I mean, I sell silver and gold, but I need to back up the truck on this because people haven't figured it out yet. Like that, when the currency resets, it's going to be resetting against Bitcoin, silver, or gold. It's not just going to be some fiat floating currency, especially being that nobody trusts anybody. As far on the international stage goes. I mean, Bitcoin's great. It's trustless. You don't need to have trust. It's wonderful. But yeah, thinking through this is an absolute mess. This is like an absolute, and it's completely the reactions of our political elite. Same thing with the Rona sickness thing. It wasn't the Rona sickness that was the problem. It was the overreaching actions taken by our government and governments around the world. And it makes you just think like, or realize rather, they ain't on your team. These people are not on your team. The World Economic Forum is running this. I'm actually halfway through the 4th Industrial Revolution right now. World Economic Forum guy, Klaus Schwab. If you want to see Dr. Evil, like bald-headed guy, like cat stroking, like, yeah, that's Klaus Schwab. He even has the accent. He's got some really interesting descendants too. Yeah, really, he really comes from an interesting bloodline, I'll tell you that. His mother, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Even on both sides, really interesting people. Couldn't say it on this channel. This channel will be blocked immediately, but yeah. Man, this is such a freaking mess. Anyway, this is why I sell metals. This is like, oh man. Anyway, I'm ranting on at this point in time. I'm gonna gonna sign off. Thank you guys. I will see you in the comments. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for pushing these videos and sharing with your friends. And get prepared, guys. We probably have some time yet because the focus will be on Russia bad, and you can unite. I mean, they're already using the word unity. They haven't used the word unity in a long time, and Biden's like, we need to fund the police, not defund the police. It's like, that's interesting. That's a change. And the science has changed as well. And so, you know, all these things are changing rather quickly. This thing's gonna fracture into a million pieces. This is like, man, the more I think about this, the more I just need to sit back and think about this, because this is insane. But the Lehman Brothers moment is U.S. political elites sanctioning Russia. And this is March 4th of 2022. So the Lehman Brothers moment we're looking for is Russian sanctions brought on by the Biden administration and copied by members of NATO. So when we look back at this 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, that is where all of these problems came from. See you later.